Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zazlav says that we're going to see more media consolidation in the future. Now, David Zazlav was speaking at an Allen & Co. conference in Idaho where he talked about how we're going to see over the next 2 years more consolidation among media companies, with them buying each other or jointly going after streaming companies. Now, David Zazlav believes that this is something positive as related to media with all of this media consolidation. However, this media consolidation basically is happening because all of Hollywood and most of the entertainment industry is desperate to survive. Now, in the aftermath of the pandemic, Hollywood has not really recovered as related to the record box office that it got with blockbuster superhero movies like Avengers Endgame, and the whole market for speculating as related to streaming has basically wound up imploding. And all of it really has wound up imploding mainly because of the Telecom Act of 1996 that allowed media companies like Warner Brothers Discovery to be able to own more than one television station, one newspaper or radio station or magazine in one local area. And with that deregulation led to all of this consolidation, and all of this consolidation sadly has led to the lack of competition. And due to that lack of competition in the entertainment industry, this is the main reason why Hollywood basically is struggling at this point, because as it has basically consolidated, they basically do not have the foundations for competition that the entertainment industry needs in order to be able to pull a profit. And as a result, what has happened with the entertainment industry is that we've seen all of these consolidated media companies not really go out here and be very creative as related to creating unique forms of entertainment. No, what executives like David Zaslav have done is wind up basically looking to depend on old legacy media franchises and old legacy media that they previously created, and look to go out here and make lots of different remakes, reboots, and sequels to be the core juncture of their business, and looking to make all of these legacy reboots, remakes, and reboots be their core product. Unfortunately, as they went to make all of this old media and make these old franchises into their new product, what has happened is that they didn't really think critically about the age of many of these old intellectual properties, and didn't think that they're about the changing trends as related to their audience. Now, one of the reasons why the entertainment industry is struggling is due to the Telecom Act of 1996, again, destroying competition. But the other reason why it's struggling right now is because there's not much innovation due to the lack of competition. And many of these executives, like David Zaslav, are deeply disconnected and out of touch with the average everyday American, and as they are out of touch, they're basically thinking that people want to continue seeing many of these old intellectual properties, not ever thinking about how they fit within the context of time. Now, in the context of time, many of these old intellectual properties are over sometimes 70 years old as the oldest intellectual properties, and others are on their way to being 40 to 50 years old. And many of the young moviegoers from people like the Gen Z and Generation Alpha, the young customers that Hollywood depends on, really are not interested in seeing old franchises and old intellectual properties being remade, rebooted, or being made into sequels. No, for many of those people who are part of Generation Z and Generation Alpha, these characters are their fathers and grandfathers and even their great-grandfathers' characters, and they don't have any connection to them. And since they have no connection to those characters, and those characters aren't really speaking to their state of life, this is why Hollywood has been struggling for the last 3 to 4 years as related to its whole fiscal situation, because they're not creating content that appeals to young customers. And with them not looking to create content for young customers, they have been struggling as related to their media platforms, whether it be the streaming services, whether it be the television shows, or even the movies at the theater. The problem at these media companies like Warner Brothers Discovery is the content, and the problem with the content is that many of the executives, like their predecessors in the 1960s, during the time that Hollywood almost went out of business, is that they're disconnected and detached from the audience and really cannot see a way to create content that resonates with young viewers and deals with the things that they struggle with. No, with people like David Zaslav, because they don't want to come out of their comfort zone, what they do is go out here and talk about they need to consolidate, and they're consolidating not because they want to be more competitive, but because they are desperate to stay surviving, and this whole frame of survival mode shows how out of touch executives like David Zaslav are, because media consolidation without quality content is going to lead to a further implosion of Hollywood, and that's happening right now because you have Paramount Global, which is basically on sale at this point and looking to sell its networks, and then you have Warner Brothers Discovery also looking to buy other platforms and looking to buy other platforms because they think buying the platforms will allow them to gain control. But the whole thing is that the content on those platforms really does not compel the viewers to want to watch the content, because the content doesn't answer the critical question a screenwriter like myself has to answer, and that question is, why should we care? I mean, when I put fingers to the keyboard, I have to think about what the audience will care about, especially young people, because if you want to build a business in entertainment, you need to get the young customers. And if you're not telling stories that appeal to the young customers, that talk about their life in the world and how the world goes on as related to them, then the customer isn't going to have an incentive to care, to spend money on a subscription for a streaming service, spend money on a movie ticket, or even go out here and watch all of the episodes of a season of a show. And this is the fact that flies over the head of David Zaslav and many people in Hollywood who are, again, old and completely out of touch, thinking that if they consolidate the media, they can create a covert contract where they can try to force people to watch their content, but nobody wants to watch content of old intellectual properties that, again, are in many cases 70 to 40 years old. I mean, we live in an age where Transformers is 40, Star Wars is 50, and many other franchises like Alien and Predator are in their 40s, but we have people out here still looking to push these 40-year-old franchises at the minimum and 70-year-old franchises at the maximum, and maybe even 100-year-old stories onto a young audience and not looking for fresh, original content. And that is the crux of the problem in Hollywood at this point, a problem that is due to the lack of competition, due to the Telecom Act of 1996, because the Telecom Act of 1996 is the main reason why we have this really stagnant Hollywood, where all they're doing is focusing on making just these big budget superhero movies or these big budget animated movies, and not really focusing on the core business of entertainment, which is making movies about people. Because in the entertainment business, the ultimate goal is to make stories about people that resonate with people and their life experiences, stories that make people relate to their life and the world from these stories. This is what draws people in to go watch the movies or go watch TV shows or streaming shows. And this is where David Zaslav and many executives in the entertainment industry are extremely disconnected. They really don't see how you going out here and buying media platforms isn't going to help save the entertainment business. No, them buying more entertainment platforms is going to accelerate the demise of the entertainment industry, and it's going to accelerate the demise of the entertainment industry because with all of this consolidation, you're basically further choking out creativity, and you're choking out creativity because with less and less competition, we don't have the creativity. And in order for an entertainment business to work, you need competition. Competition is what makes people want to, again, see different diversity of thought and diversity of stories, and we're not getting that competition. And as a result, what we're seeing is people like David Zaslav and Warner Bros. Discovery continuing to lay off people in the aftermath of the SAG and WGA strikes, which led to a lot of people being out of work because of the whole speculation as related to streaming. Again, a lot of people thought streaming was going to be the next big thing, but they didn't understand overall media like I have, because I've been studying the entertainment industry for over 25 years. And the ultimate thing that allows entertainment to grow are two things. One is competition, because competition makes it where you have to keep coming up with different and unique ideas. And two, you do need content because content is king. And again, you can't get content without competition. And that's the thing that many Hollywood executives just don't understand, because they lobbied to go out here and be able to go out here and deregulate media, but those regulations were the thing that allowed, ironically, the media platforms to grow because it basically protected competition. But consolidation does not protect competition. No, consolidation basically has choked out competition, because as corporations have been buying media platforms, buying newspapers, buying magazines, buying all sorts of record companies, we have not seen a lot of creativity, because what these executives want to do is force one viewpoint on people, and they want to force one viewpoint on people to be able to push their narratives, because they believe since they control the money and they control the media, they can control the narrative. But sadly, people are not tuning in anymore after the pandemic. What has happened is that Hollywood's entire business is basically fallen and is on the brink of collapsing. And these desperate executives, instead of looking to adapt to the marketplace by fostering more competition, are looking to contract their business further, not understanding contraction of a business basically will lead to its eventual implosion, because what you're doing is not appealing to the customers who are the viewers and the people who watch and consume this media. Many people just have tuned out as related to American media, and they're going to foreign media such as media from Japan, Korea, and even India and South America, because American entertainment is run by a bunch of disconnected and out of touch executives, who don't see the reality of American entertainment, and don't see the reality of American entertainment in that your media continues to get older and depreciate. And as it gets older, it's basically depreciating because the new generation does not care about old media. No, the new generation, basically, they don't see themselves in that media. They see the world that came before them, and they don't see you creating anything new that talks to them. That's the big problem that I'm seeing again with American media. We're not really going out here and creating new TV shows or new movies with new characters, or even developing new actors, because I talked about this about 5-6 years ago about how many actors that we know these days are in their 30s and 40s back then. And this has gotten worse because these actors now are at the minimum in their 40s and at the maximum in their 60s. And that's a big problem because Hollywood is not going out here creating new stars, not creating new franchises. No, just running on old material, and running on old material because these executives just are afraid of taking a risk. And that was shown to me with the trailer for Captain America Brave New World, a trailer of an, again, old franchise at this point because the MCU is over 15 years old, and many of the MCU, basically, the trailer had uninspired visuals, uninspired design, uninspired trail footage. I mean, just it was cut and pasted from previous movies, and that's been the big problem again with this media. It's not fresh and original. We're not developing new stars. We're not developing new performers. I mean, when I was in my 20s and I was again studying the entertainment industry, and I was thinking about again becoming a comic book writer and a screenwriter and a novelist, I basically saw most of the actors being in their teens, 20s, and at the max their 30s. And again, most of the actors were young, but these days most of the actors are old, and most of the directors and people are old. And that's a big problem because again, Hollywood is a youth business, but these days Hollywood is turning geriatric, and as it turns geriatric, it's basically looking to contract itself, and again, contract itself and avoid sharing new ideas from creators like me and many others out here, not looking to go out here and look for new, fresh, original ideas. No, they just keep looking to push old ideas, and again, looking to contract itself into a ball, that will eventually wind up imploding, because while they're saying, oh, there are no jobs for new writers and new people, the thing is that they keep making old properties because they want to play it safe because they're afraid of risk. But entertainment is a business of risk, and sadly, Hollywood can't reap the rewards because their executives are afraid of risk. We've got too many bean counters and people who are fearful in the business who think consolidation will help you grow. No, consolidation is contraction, and you cannot grow with contraction. No, you can only grow from three things. One is taking risks with fresh, original content. Two is going out here and fostering competition where you can get people to, again, start exchanging ideas and getting new and different ideas. And three, you have to focus on creating fresh, new content for a new audience, because trying to keep remaking franchises of 40 to 70-year-old stuff is not working for Hollywood, and consolidation isn't going to work, because eventually what we're going to head to is a road to a monopoly. And again, when it comes to antitrust, that's where the government is going to have to step in, because what's going to happen is we're going to get a major contradiction with the Telecom Act of 96. The Telecom Act of 96 will make it where we're creating this monopoly that we didn't want in media, and make it where we have to realize that, again, those regulations were in place for a reason. They were in place so that we could, one, be able to get a counterpoint as related to the media we watch, two, be able to foster competition among entertainment and media companies, three, allow us to get diversity of viewpoints and diversity of thought, and four, allow us to be able to allow more fresh talent to come into the entertainment industry. That's all what the regulations were in place for. They were in place to help Americans, but sadly, many people like David Zazlav are so caught up in looking to make money that they can't see how they're making a mess. Because what's happening with American entertainment is that we continue to have all of this consolidation, is that we aren't going to have an American entertainment industry. No, we're just going to have a entertainment industry that's going to become obsolete and out of place, because we don't want to go out here and take those risks by doing things like firing these out-of-touch executives and getting people into the business who have vision to take the entertainment industry in a new direction for the 21st century. Because it's not about the technology, it's not about the platforms, it's all about content, because the internet is all about content. And if you don't have the content, nobody cares. But this is the talking point that many in entertainment just don't understand, and that's why their business is struggling at this point right now. Now, if you want to check out my screenplay books that I wrote many years ago, all about Marilyn and all about Nikki, you can see how I would make a feature film by picking up those books on Amazon.com by clicking the link in the description box. And in addition to All About Marilyn and All About Nikki, the screenplay book and TV series book that I wrote, I also wrote an entire universe of characters in the SJS Direct universe in this action-packed fantasy fiction. And you can pick up those books such as the ISIS series, the Steam series, and the John Haynes series on Amazon.com, along with All About Marilyn. And you can also pick up other fiction I've written, such as the Spinsterella trilogy, a Black Goth trilogy, my Black vampire novel, Eternal Night, my Black sorority novel, The Thetas, or my Black business novel, Recipe for Success. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And you can also find my comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, on Lulu.com. I've got lots of great fun entertainment that you can pick up and read on all of these platforms. And if you want to help me to be able to continue making more videos and continuing to be able to make more books, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, A Steam Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.